We are now on the second part of our discussion on the basic data structure in Flutter or Dart. And in this video, we are going to discuss maps. Okay? So, map is a collection of key value pairs. So, this is now our keyword, which each key must be unique. Okay? It is similar to a dictionary. Now, in Python, it is called dictionary or an associative array in other programming languages. Okay, so that you could understand it fully, so we have here the structure of the map. Okay, so it says it has a key value pair. Okay, so we have here now our key value pairs separated by commas. Okay, and one pair here is also separated by a colon. Okay, so in this example here, school ID is this is our key, and 1111, this is our value. Then on the next key value pair is we have the key here is the name, and the value is Mickey Mouse, and so on. Okay, so that we could actually understand it fully, I'm going to separate them by line. Okay, so it is like actually if ever you have re-encountered databases, it looks like actually a row in a table. Okay, in which we have here our column and we have here our value. Okay, but anyway, never mind the database. First, we're going to concentrate on the concept of our map. Okay, so but what I'm trying to represent here in my example now is actually a record for a student. Okay, so how are we going to declare a map? So this is actually how are you going to declare a map. So we have here the keyword map, then we have the parameters, okay, string, dynamic. Okay, so with the data type, meaning the key here is a string and the value is we have dynamic. So why is it dynamic? It is because as you can see it here, we have a string, and also a number. Okay, so that is why we have initialized or we have declared our map as string dynamic, and this is not the name of our map. So if ever that you want to initialize or declare a blank map, so you're just going to have an empty map. Okay, so later on you could add some values. So how are we going to access values from our map? For example, I want to access the name, okay, of the given record in our map. So we have here map, then we have square braces, then the key, and it is going to return the value of name. An example here is we have name, so we have here also it is going to return the name. So how are we going to add a key value pair into our map? So for example, we have here, so my map. So if ever I want to add a course in our existing map, so I'm just going to have this one here, course is equal to BSIT, and it's going to result with the current or the existing key value pairs and the newly added key value pair. Okay, so these are just the basic concept on a map. There are still a lot of methods and properties that we are going to encounter as we go along with our discussion with maps. Okay, so I have here, we're going now to put into action our map. Okay, so I have here a very basic interface for a data entry for the ID, name, and course or for a student. Okay, so that is why here I have 3 text editing controllers for the ID, name, and the controller. And we have here our create text field. Just it is actually here. Okay, a very basic implementation of the text field. Okay, so you have here a method or a function that is going to return a text field. Okay, so this is based on our discussion on our previous videos. Okay, so we have here for the school, name, and the horse. Okay, then we have a button that says save. So what we are going to do here is when the user is going to click on the save button, I'm just going to add whatever are the inputted values on the text fields into a map, then print it on the console. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have, okay, I'm just going to initialize it here. Okay, so we have a map, oops, of string dynamic. Okay, just to play safe, we're going to have dynamic. Then I'm just going to name it student map. Okay, is equal to. Okay, I'm going to initialize a blank map. Okay, so that when the user is going to click on save, it is going to call, I'm just going to have a function here. It would be a void function. I'm going to say save record. Okay, again, save record. Actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add the inputted values from the text fields into a map, then print it on the console. Okay, so here we are going to have our parameter school ID, string name, and string course. Okay, so that here I'm going to have okay, I'm just going to follow first the one that's been stated here. So I'm just going to follow this one here. Okay, actually there are some shortcuts, but then I'm just going to follow first what is written here in our map description. Okay, map. Then first is I'm going to have the school ID, and I'm going to assign the school ID. Okay, then I'm just going to copy and paste for the name, and also here for the name and the horse, and also for the horse. And then the last thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to print the current value of the student map. Save. By the way, we are going to call save rec or save record. The school ID is we have the controller, the text, name controller, the text, and for the course is we have the course controller, that text. Okay, so again, we are going to let the user to input the ID, name, and course into our text fields, and when the user clicks on the button, it is going to call the function save record, and it's going to pass the values of the inputted whatever is the inputted value of the user for the ID, name, and course. Then we are going to assign each of those values into our map, and hereby here actually creating a key value pair for our map. Then print. Okay, So reload. Then I'm going to have for the school ID, I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have Donald Duck. And we have the horse BSIT. Then click on save. So as you could see here, we have now the school ID, then the value of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, name for the Donald Duck, and of course we have BSIT. Okay. So if ever that I'm going to add another one here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then we have Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is a nursing student. Then click on save. What will happen is that, take note, it is going to overwrite the current content of the map. Okay, so what I want you to take note here, that we have here a single map, then we keep on changing here actually, or we keep on assigning here actually different values for the same keys. Okay, so therefore whatever is the current value for the school ID, once we are going to have this line here, it is going to overwrite. Okay, so as you can see here, Donald Duck is now actually gone from our map. Okay, so that's how are we going to add a key value pair for our map. So how are we going to display, for example, I want to display only the name of whatever is inside my, whatever is the content of the map. So I'm going to print student map, then I'm going to get only the name. Okay, so what we are doing here is actually we are assigning here the value for the key. Okay, and we are getting here the key at the same time it is going to return the value which is the name. In this example here, it would be Mickey Mouse. Okay, so save and reload. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mickey Mouse and BSIT. So it should print here the map and the name Mickey Mouse. Click, save it there. So this one here has been printed on line number 72, and print student map, the name is we have here line 73, it displays the name which is Mickey Mouse. Okay, so how about if ever I want that every time the user is going to click on save, it is just going to add this information or this data here for a certain student. So I don't want the name, for example, in this case here, Mickey Mouse have overwritten Donald Duck. But how about if ever I don't want Donald Duck to be erased or to be overwritten? Okay, so in that case, we are going to use here a list. Okay, so what will happen then is we are going to create a list of maps. Okay, so in my example then, here it would be, okay, so I'm going to get this one here. I'm just going to show you how a list of map looks like. Okay, so this would be our first map, then comma our second map. Let us say we have and so on. Okay, we're going to add another one. Joe. Okay, and they are going to be enclosed with square brackets. So in our previous discussion with lists, Okay, so what we have so far with our previous videos or discussion with list is we have actually list of strings or list of numbers. Okay, I'm just showing you here the comparison between the list of map and list of strings. So we have here the first string and we have here the first map. Okay, so the second map, then the second string. So don't be confused with the map, just compare it with a list of strings. It looks like, let's say this is the first string or the number, second and third. Okay, and how are we going to access the first one here? So this now is on index 0, index 1, index 2. So if ever we are going to have list index 0, it is going to return the whole map. Okay, so here index 0, it is going to return the whole string. Okay, so I hope you get the comparison between the list of string and list of maps. Okay, so we are going to implement this one here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have list. I'm just going to call it students list is equal to blank list. Okay, so what should then be the type? Okay, now if ever that we are going to initialize a list of strings, so we're just going to do it this way. Okay, so but since we are going to have here a list of maps, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy here the initial or the declaration for the map, then I'm going to put it inside our list. Okay, so a list of maps in which our map is composed of the key for string and dynamic for the value. Okay, so that's how are we going to initialize or declare a list of maps. Okay, so it is not used. Okay, so instead that we are going to print our map here, so what I'm going to print is we are going to print the students list. Okay, then after I have defined here my map, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to students, I'm going to add the created map here into my list. What I'm going to add here the students map. Then we are going to print our students list. Okay, so the only thing that have changed is actually the declaration for the list and adding now the created map into our list. Okay, so save, then reload. Okay, let us try. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have here Donald. Then course we have BSIT. Saved. So as you could see here, within the square braces, so we have here our first map. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then I'm going to have Mickey Mouse, and we have BSN. Okay. Then I'm going to click save. So we have here now two values or two maps inside my list. But what have you observed? Okay, we have the same value here. Okay, so the first value is we have Mickey Mouse, and the second value is still we have Mickey Mouse. So what happened to Donald? Okay, this is the problem. Yes. Okay. So when we have these commands here, so take note, the first map into the list is actually an instance of the student map. Take note that we have declared our map outside or once only outside our functions here. So therefore, every time that I'm going to edit here the map, it is actually editing this map that we have instantiated here. Okay? And the first item here, for example, Donald Duck, is actually an instance of this map. So therefore, when we have created or when we have assigned different values into these keys, okay, what happened? All instance of the map has been also changed. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we must have to have different instances of the maps as we are going to have them or add them into our list. So actually we are just going to transfer this one here into our save record. Okay, so every time that we are going to call save record, it is going to create a new map. Okay, and every time that we are going to add this map here, we are actually adding different instance of the student map. Okay, so let us try. Save, then reload. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have Donald, then BSIT. Save. So we have here for Donald. So next is we are going to have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we're going to have Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is nursing. Save. Okay. Donald has been preserved and a new record has been added. Okay, so if ever I'm going to add another one, for example, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then star of the show, Pitok, BSME, then save. So we have here Donald, Mickey, and Pitok. Okay, so that's how are we going to deal with a list of maps. Okay. By the way, there's another way on how are we going to have, instead that we are going to use this way. This is my favorite. This is actually the way. If ever that I'm going to create a map, this is my favorite one. Okay, so I'm just going to have here school ID, then the name and course. Okay, so this one here is actually the same with this one. So we are declaring here and also at the same time we are initializing here the value of the map. Okay, so let's try. Save, reload. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Save. So we have it there. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pitok, still BSIT. Click. So here Pitok and Donald. Okay, so it's up to you which technique are you going to use, but for me, or I would actually recommend this one here. Okay. By the way, how are we going to print? For example, okay, let us say the first. Okay, so we're just going to have the first item here. Okay, so that we could print any of the items here, so we must have to take note here. This is index 0 of the map of the list. This is in the index number 2. Oh no, 1. Okay? So if ever we're going to have print, then students list name, this one here is actually going to return an error. Okay? Why? It is because the argument type string can't be assigned to a parameter type int, because Flutter don't know, or Dart doesn't know, which of the records here or which of the elements in our list are we going to access for the name. Okay? Would it be 0 or 1? So in that case, in my example here, I'm going to have here 0. Okay, so meaning it is going to print the name of the first element, which is, in the case here, we have Donald. Okay. By the way, soon we are going to have more methods. We could iterate through here, or we could get only the values from here, and so on. That's for our next video. Okay. By the way, we're just going to have first this one here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have Donald Duck, then BSIT. Save. So as you can see here, we have Donald Duck. Okay, so we printed here element at index 0. The element at index 0 is, we have this one here. Okay, specifically the name. Okay, so that is why we have there only Donald Duck. So even if ever that I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have here Mickey Mouse, save, still it prints Donald Duck. Why? It is because we are accessing only the element or the name of the element at index 0. If ever we want to get the value for the name here, we're just going to change this one into 1. But again, we are going to have those in our next video. What is important here now is that you have understood the concept of a map, and how are we going then to integrate a map into our list. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll see you on the next video.